Hasselback potatoes are one of the most impressive sides you can serve for just about any special occasion. But man, can they be an absolute pain to make. When I first tried cooking these up, I would get halfway through delicately slicing the potato, focusing all of my energy on this tiny little spud, when whoops, I cut the entire potato in half. I'd almost given up all hope on ever conquering this seemingly impossible side. But then I realized what these bad boys can do. Hey there, I'm Lennon Brazil from Evolving Table, and today we're going to be going over what to do and what not to do when it comes to making Hasselback potatoes. Oh, and we are doing both a sweet and a savory version, so everyone at your dinner table has something that they'll love. If you're ready to get to cooking, then come on in and let's get started. The journey to making the perfect Hasselback potato starts at the grocery store. When you're selecting your potatoes, whether russet potatoes or sweet potatoes, you'll want to look for ones that are small to medium in size. Potatoes that are a little less than half a pound each work the best. Select ones that are a similar length and width so they'll cook up evenly in the oven. For both the sweet and the savory recipe, you'll want 6 potatoes which weigh roughly 2.5 pounds total. Before we start prepping our potatoes, make sure that you've got your oven preheated to 425 degrees. Rinse the potatoes under cool running water, scrub them vigorously and remove all of that dirt and debris, and then dry the potatoes thoroughly using a dish towel. Hands down, the most crucial step, and definitely the most challenging, is knowing how to cut the potatoes. If you make one wrong cut that's just a little bit too aggressive, you'll end up slicing your entire potato in half. So in order to prevent a Hasselback catastrophe, I'm going to be teaching you a little trick I just learned recently using chopsticks. And not just any chopsticks. You want to make sure that you find ones that have a square end with flat sides. I learned this the hard way when I was trying to use ones with a round end and they just kept rolling off of my cutting board. So definitely grab these little cheapies that come from your local Chinese restaurant that have those nice square flat ends. You also want to make sure your knife is freshly sharpened before starting. Place 2 chopsticks on a cutting board and then put 1 potato in between them. You want the long axis of the potato to run parallel to the chopsticks. Start at least half an inch from the end of the potato and make cuts approximately 1/4 inch apart. Stop cutting when your knife hits the chopstick so the bottom is still connected. Repeat this process with the remaining potatoes and place on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. Wasn't that so much easier to do, and no one lost a finger or even a half of a potato. Next, we're gonna whisk together a simple butter and garlic sauce. Melt 6 tablespoons of butter in a medium-sized bowl and add 2 tablespoons of oil, olive or avocado oil will work, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, 1 teaspoon of salt to taste, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Whisk the sauce until well combined. Using a pastry brush, brush half of the mixture over all of the potatoes. Spread apart the slices using a fork, or you can just use your fingers like I do if you don't mind getting a little messy. This little step ensures that the sauce gets in between all of those slices, but no need to worry if you're having a difficult time. After baking these for a bit, the potatoes will naturally fan out and make it much easier to get the sauce in between them. Place a piece or 2 of aluminum foil over the baking sheet and wrap it up tightly. I tried to cook these recently without wrapping them in aluminum foil. The edges got super crispy, but the inside was still hard as a rock, so make sure you don't skip this step. Now we'll just pop them into that preheated 425 degree oven for 30 minutes. Remove the aluminum foil and brush the remaining sauce over all of the potatoes. You might need to pop the sauce into the microwave to warm it back up. Really get that sauce in between the slices. Bake uncovered for an additional 20 to 25 minutes. While the potatoes are finishing up cooking, let's get started on that cheese. It's best if you can find thinly sliced cheese. I've got a mild cheddar here, but you can also always use a sharp cheddar or even Monterey Jack cheese. Cut the sliced cheese into smaller 1-inch pieces. When the timer goes off, Check the potatoes to see if they're done by poking them with a fork in the very center of the potato. If it's still pretty hard, add them back into the oven for an additional 10 minutes or so. Once the potatoes are cooked through, remove them from the oven and let them cool for a few minutes until they are safe to the touch. Place 1 square of cheese in between each slice. Repeat with all slices and in all of the potatoes. Return the potatoes to the oven for an additional 5 to 10 minutes or until the cheese is melted. Serve potatoes with crumbled bacon or real bacon bits, sour cream, and a sprinkle of green onions or chives. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, those are so good, and I would say that they're the best, but I know better because the sweet potato version has my heart. And it just so happens to remind me of my all-time favorite Thanksgiving dish, sweet potato casserole with pecans and brown sugar. So go ahead and grab those 6 small to medium-sized sweet potatoes, each one weighing a little less than half of a pound. You can use jewel or garnet sweet potatoes, it doesn't really matter. Wash them under cool running water, rinse and scrub them really good, and then dry them thoroughly. Next, we're gonna use that handy dandy chopstick method again and make cuts approximately 1/4 inch apart. You might notice that cutting through sweet potatoes is a little bit more difficult than cutting through russet potatoes, so make sure you've got that knife really sharpened and you're paying close attention. Once all of the potatoes are thinly sliced, place them on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. And now for the sauce. It's a lot like the savory version that we did, except we're adding in a little bit of sugar and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Melt 6 tablespoons of butter in a medium-sized bowl and add 2 tablespoons of oil. Once again, olive or avocado oil will work just fine. Half a cup of brown sugar. You can also use coconut sugar here. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of salt to taste. Whisk the sauce until well combined. Brush half of the sauce over the potatoes, spreading apart the slices once again to get that sauce all of the way in between them. Cover the potatoes with a piece of aluminum foil or 2, and then bake in the oven for 30 minutes. Remove the foil and brush that remaining sauce over all of the potatoes. You can use a fork here to make sure that sauce gets in there really good. Return the potatoes to the oven for an additional 20 to 30 minutes. Once the potatoes are cooked through, sprinkle a tablespoon or 2 of chopped pecans over each of the potatoes. Reduce the oven temperature to 375 degrees and return them to the oven for 5 to 10 minutes. You'll know they're done when the pecans are slightly toasted and have a delightful nutty aroma. Serve the potatoes with additional brown sugar and cinnamon. Oh yes, that is so delicious, and it is a super close call, but I'd have to say that the sweet potato version it's still my favorite. And if you want a few more impressive recipe ideas, make sure you check out these side dishes that just might steal center stage. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.